This video is brought to you by Sportland, quality, integrity, and tradition.
Well, this morning we have a service call on an exhaust fan that is making noise. They say from down at the dishwasher they can hear a loud noise. Oh yeah, the whole thing's shaking the roof where I'm standing. Let's get the cover pulled off and see what's going on with this thing. So the whole top just lifted off. It's been vibrating for a while. But it's not so bad when you get the cover off. What is going on here? But the thing is like just crazy vibrating. Let's well, you can see the whole thing is like jacked up. I can see a lot of play in there. Ooh, nope, not gonna happen. Went to go hinge it and the whole thing moved. All right, I'm gonna have to get my hands in here. So when I take the belt off, watch this pulley. Yeah, that's a problem. The whole thing's cattywampus. It's something's way messed up in there. What's interesting is I'm seeing so much play from up here. I wonder if the shaft is bent, like at the bearing. That's crazy. This thing is just a junker fan. The motor was installed in 2019. Huh. This whole fan is just beat down. I bet you, let me try to get it to hinge. I bet you the wheel is completely impacted with grease. So I had to put screws in the bottom because the whole thing was hinging. So I get this up and look in here. There's a bunch of crap stuck in the wheel. This exhaust duct is completely destroyed. This is their dishwasher. And for whatever reason, they use galvanized duct for this and it's just destroyed. I bet you, I'm gonna pull that paper and tape out, whatever that is, but I bet you the damage is done. I bet you the wheel's all out of balance. All right, check this out. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put this camera in a stationary spot and I want you to focus just on the shaft. You can see the whole thing is pivoting. So this upper bearing probably has damage, and I even think that there's some damage to the shaft from being out of balance for so long. The bearings are just shot. So the repair on this, for me to walk away from it, well, first off, this exhaust fan's not repairable, okay, because all the metal brackets are broken. It's been vibrating so long. It's time to replace it. But if the customer really wanted to get it going, the only way I would walk away from this is if I ordered a new wheel, both bearings, the shaft, replace both pulleys, and I don't know what I could do about these, like brackets, but honestly, it's gonna be cheaper just to replace the whole fan. So I'm gonna take down the specs. What I'm gonna do is loosen up the belt, okay? I'll loosen up the belt just a little bit so that way it's not vibrating as bad, and then that'll probably get them by until we can do it. So what I need to know is the diameter of the curb, the height and diameter of the blower wheel, the motor voltage, horsepower, RPM of the motor, the pulley sizes, and with that, I'll be able to quote a new replacement fan. This looks like it's a Greenheck fan or a Greenheck knockoff from Granger's. Either way, it shouldn't be difficult to get this fan. All right, so I got everything that I needed. If we look at my notes right here, it says dish exhaust is vibrating and has been happening for a long time. The wheel shaft bearings and pulleys need to be replaced and the fan housing is also broken. I highly suggest replacement. So I got the information. The fan curb, 21 3/4 in diameter. The motor information, 208 3-phase, 3/4 horse, 1725 RPMs. Pulley sizes, belt size, doesn't really matter, and the wheel size. So with that information, I'll be able to go to Greenheck and just get a replacement fan. But I also looked and there is a data tag right here. So I'm gonna try to scrape that off carefully and see if I can see what the data tag actually says to make this process a little bit easier. So I can kind of make out the model number. It's a little difficult and I was kind of having a hard time looking at this, the first two digits. I didn't know if it was GB or 6 something, because the normal fans that I deal with from Greenheck are cubes, C-U-B-E fans. So then I come over here and I'm like, hey, well, this fan looks similar. Let's have a look at this. And I get down here and I'm looking and I'm like, wait a minute. Someone just didn't clean up their mess. But if you look right here, it is a GB. So GB is the model number. So now I can get the information. Someone never took this fan down. That's kind of funny, huh? All right, so what we're gonna do here is just take a marker. See if we can mark it up. See if this will help any. See if that helps. Not really. Doesn't really make it any better, but I should be able to look a little bit harder. Let me keep looking. All right, I loosened up the belt a little bit, so the vibrations calmed down a little bit, and then I put tech screws in all these brackets. I found one more of the brackets on the ground that had broke off and kind of screwed it all down so the lid's not sitting there vibrating on it anymore. That was part of the problem. But the whole fan itself is just all cattywampus, out of balance, really messed up. So it is definitely time to change this fan. We will submit a quote to the customer and go from there. All right, the customer listened to me and decided that it would be better to go ahead and change this entire exhaust fan. So I have a new fan here. We pulled the shrouds off. We're gonna try to get this up their roof hatch if possible. If not, we'll have to go up the side of the building, which we can, but it'd just be easier to go up the hatch if possible. All right, we got the fan up here. We had to take it apart in pieces, and we did have to rope it up the side of the building. So we just did it very carefully with 2 people, that way we didn't scratch the building. This is the fan right here. Saying it's been running since I made it work temporarily, but it's vibrating like all heck. I don't know that those hinges are gonna really work, but they don't hinge it anyways to clean it, so I don't know. We'll see what we can do, but we're gonna start disassembling it. I've already had a discussion with them because this ductwork isn't meant for grease. It's not cleanable ductwork. So there's really no point in having hinges because it's not a cleanable exhaust fan either. This isn't stainless steel ductwork. This is galvanized ductwork, so they can't pressure wash it. It's disintegrating. Having that adapter piece on there really, I mean, it reduces the size by 1/2 of an inch. So there's really no point. We can just put the exhaust fan on like this and be done. Like, I don't understand the purpose of having all that nonsense on there. So we're just gonna run it without this adapter and without those hinges, because it doesn't even matter that the hinges are on there. You can't clean that exhaust fan. And the customer's just gonna have to stop washing their grease filters in the hoods. I mean, in the dishwasher, like, you know, this is a problem we run into in all restaurants. If they made the ductwork stainless steel, then sure, but that's not what it is, you know? So we're gonna run it like this. We're gonna throw everything else away. And then we're also gonna get rid of this thing I've shown before, because there's no exhaust fan, no duct there. It's just an old exhaust fan. So we're gonna get rid of that too for them. So we're just gonna wire it up just like this. Okay, so we're just doing the electrical now. Got it ran right there, a little extra whip, so that way we can lift the, you know, the exhaust fan off and set it to the side if need be. We're currently putting all the screws in, got the electrical started in here. It's just a little bit of a process. I'm gonna wire the motor out here, so that way we only have the whip to wire into the switch that's gonna go right there. So this is kind of a problem. I'm noticing there's no numbers on these wires. It's just colors. And of course they tell you colors on here, that's fine, like to wire it up, but what if someone's colorblind? They've always had numbers and colors. They've never said by color. So that's really interesting here. That's kind of dumb on the motor manufacturer's part. That's a marathon motor. So no more numbers, huh? Interesting. All right, we are ready to go, all wired up per the schematic down here for low voltage, because this can be 208 or 460. So, all right, we are wired, like I said. We'll get that put in there, and then we just got to check the phase rotation. So if the phase rotation's off, it'll be easiest to switch it at this end, unless we left this whole thing unhooked and tested the rotation that way. But I think it'll just be easier to do it at the switch. All right, when we were opening all the packaging, Robert noticed that there was a key in the packaging, and as we're looking, we're wondering where it goes. There's a key in that one. There's not a key in this one. And you want to know the other weird thing? Robert was telling me that when he picked it up, they said they were assembling it at the distributor. So I'm intrigued by that. Greenheck, are you guys not assembling these at your factory? Is the distributor responsible for putting the different drive packages in them maybe, or something like that? Maybe that's what, I'm assuming maybe it's assembled at Greenheck, but then they put the different drive packages on it, the different size motors maybe? I don't know, I was intrigued by that, but yeah, this fell out. So we need to loosen up the taper lock bushing, twist this taper lock this way, get the key in there, and then tighten it back down. And then after that, we'll be able to turn it on and hopefully be done with this guy. All right, we are on and running. Everything is good. We are running at 2.21 amps, and we're allowed to run 2.6 amps. So we're good on current. Yeah, everything else is good. We're all secured, nice and good. It's pulling out a lot of condensation. And then right in the midst of all this, something's going on because we've got a police helicopter, and then we've got a news helicopter, and then we've got police cars all in the shopping center across from us. So that's interesting. I'm gonna hang out up here for a little while, watch the action go down. But yeah, customer should be super happy now. No more vibration, no more weird sounds. Yeah, and all is well.
So I did what I had to do to try to get the fan to stop vibrating as much. And that was as simple as, first off, just evaluating the damage to the fan. And then once I did that, it was literally just loosening up the belt. Okay, the fan belt was nice and tight, and that was just intensifying the vibration that the customer was complaining about. So sometimes, you know, if you run into those situations, just loosen the belt just a little bit. It'll calm things down, won't amplify it as much. But, you know, they still needed to replace that exhaust fan. So the customer agreed with me. We went ahead and ordered a new fan, and we obviously got it back up back up there and running. Now, they didn't want to deal with the ductwork at this point in time because it's not rotted out like to where there was holes in it yet. But it's going to be shortly. Of course, I brought it to their attention. But for now, we put a fan on there. They'll get a little more life out of it. Other than that, I mean, the fan installation really wasn't a big deal. You know, just made sure that the fan wasn't running too much current, over amping. And, you know, I didn't get it on video, but I did take my tachometer and just, you know, got a generalized RPM of the driven pulley before we put the new fan on, and then after, to make sure that we weren't drastically over. Of course, it was a little bit over because, you know, naturally the new fan had a nice tight belt. It didn't have vibration. There wasn't a bunch of stuff caked up in the wheel. But, you know, we didn't want to throw the billing balance completely off. So once we did that, you know, the customer's happy. Everything's back in operation, and that's it. This really wasn't a very difficult one. But sometimes you really got to step back, you know. I'll get people every once in a while saying, you know, man, you know, it's just a little vibration. You could have got it going. But remember, the customer was complaining about the vibration, right? So the reason why I was there was because they didn't like hearing the blah, 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 blah sound that was resonating all the way downstairs. So that's why we changed the entire fan, right? Because it was just completely out of shit, you know, just beat up. And that was an original fan from like 03, I think, or something like that. So they got their life out of it. All right. I really appreciate you making it to the end of the video. If you haven't already, please consider checking out my website, hvacrvideos.com. We have merchandise available on there. Hats, beanies, sweatshirts, stickers, all that good stuff. Now, the sweatshirts, we have zip-up hoodies. They're on closeout. In the United States, they're $25 each, including shipping. In Canada, they still cost $25, but you got to pay that Canadian shipping fee that we have to pay to get it up there. But we are closing out the sweatshirts. So once they're gone, they're gone. You know, so they're really nice sweatshirts, but they just didn't sell like I originally thought, and I bought way too many. So if you guys want to pick one up before they're gone, check it out again, hvacrvideos.com. But again, that's a great way to support the channel if you're interested in doing so. But the easiest way to support this channel is literally just watch the videos from beginning to end. That really is the easiest way. But you can also do it via PayPal, Patreon, YouTube channel memberships. But last but not least, if you go to truetechtools.com, I have an affiliate program set up with them. Put the offer code BIGPICTURE at checkout on their website, and majority of the items on their website, you get that 8% discount, and then I get a small commission when you do that. There's a few items it doesn't apply to, but for the most part, that's another great way. And if you need any new tools, again, truetechtools.com. So thank you so very much, and we will catch you on the next one.